Well, good afternoon, everybody. We have another fabulous DIY project for you. And it seems like we're always doing this, changing the oil. It does. We did it in the RV, we did it in the Jeep, and we're getting ready to do it in the Miata. So I've never done a Mazda car before. Doesn't look too difficult. There is an extra step, though. It's not as easy as the RV. The RV is the easiest one to do. I'd say the Jeep is the second easiest one to do. And I'm going to put this one third just because you got tighter tolerances. There's not as much space. So there's a couple extra steps, which we're going to go over those. So if you're changing oil in a Mazda Miata, this is a 21 model, so an ND version of it, the newer version. I can't speak to the older ones. Miata. So here it is. And if you recall, we went to an estate sale once. And we picked up these car ramps, if you remember, and we couldn't transport them because we were in this car. And Therese had to hold them out through the roof. We had to retract the roof, and it was a big mess getting them home. But hey, we're getting to use them now. They're perfect size for the Miata because we got to get it up off the ground so we can get under it. And these ramps are perfect for the car because they weren't too steep. If you get ramps that are too steep, then the car tends to push them along the concrete. It'll kind of push them. These are nice, long, slow, gradual incline, so the car went right up on it, no problem. And it's still going to be a low clearance, but at least it's possible to get up under the car now, where without them you could not get under the car. You could forget about it. So we're going to change the oil. And what are we putting in this car? It calls for OW30 weight. OW20 weight oil. And I know this oil has been changed only one time before from the previous owner. And he said he used Mobil 1. I was glad to hear that. So we're going to stay with it because I like Mobil 1. We have the 0W20, which this car calls for. And if you're looking, a lot of times it's on the newer cars, it's marked right on the oil cover there. You can see OW20. So that's what we're going to do. And my favorite brand of oil filters is a Wix filter, and we've gotten one already because I ordered these ahead of time, and I marked it there, as you can see, for the car because we've got several vehicles. So I've got the filter, I've got the oil standing by. But before we can get to the drain plug, we need to remove a splash guard cover. So that's the extra step. So let me get in position and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I managed to get up under the front of the car. It is tight under here. I have to be flat. I can't be on my side. This is the oil pan. I'm just going to hold it to the side there for a minute. We're not quite ready for that. This is a 12 millimeter socket. But this splash pan right here has to come off before you can start. It looks there to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts from what I can tell. So we'll see how that goes. So I got my handy dandy. Somebody wrenched down on these things. So you got to get all those off. So I'll go ahead and do that. And we'll see what we got underneath. Okay, we got the pan off. No problems getting the pan off. I believe it was a 13 millimeter. And there's probably about 10 bolts. So I took them off. In fact, I have them all right here. They look like this. And it does keep things clean under here. So here's where the pan was. Here where I'm pointing. So it keeps everything nice and clean. You don't see this old road debris or dirt or splashed rain or anything. It's clean. Here's the filter. They have a Mobil 1 filter on here. I'm replacing it with the Wix. Mobil 1's good too. I'm not saying that they're not. I just think Wix is the next step up. So this filter I was actually able to loosen. But look where it is. It's real easy to get to. So I don't think this car is hard to do either. And here's the drain plug. There's the oil filter. So you can put the the drain pan under both and catch both at the same time. The plug is a 17 millimeter, so I've got an open end wrench for that. And then we're just going to loosen it and then get both of these draining. Gotta get better position on it here. There we go. Woo. A little tight there. Let's get the pan up here. Trying not to make a mess. And the oil is warm. You want to warm the car up before you do this so that all the oil drains out nicely. But we were driving the car this morning, so the oil might actually be a little hot still. Whoop, there it goes. It's going to make a little bit of a mess just pulling the plug out. But it's draining. The pan's going to lean down a little bit, but I think that's okay. You can hear it probably going goop, 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 goop. Got my handy dandy rag over here. See if I can reach that filter. I did loosen it, but now my hands are all slippery. I don't think I can. Oh yeah, I think I can get it. The oil is warm, but it's not hot. It's not going to scald me. Ooh, it sure makes a mess though. It goes all over your hand. So I guess be ready for that. I'm just going to leave the filter in the pan. I can get that out later. It's a good place for it to drain. So, yeah, that was a little messy with my hand, but at least it didn't go all over the ground or anything. So I'm going to crawl out from under here, let this drain for a little bit, and then clean up the plug, clean up the surface here with the rag, clean up the surface where the filter is going to go on with the rag, and I need 2 hands for that. And then get the other filter and put it on. Remember to put a little bit of oil on the gasket, just kind of lubricate it before you apply it. Just a very tiny bit, way less than what's on my hand right now. So let me get this cleaned up and we'll get back under here. Okay, we're back under here. It's still dripping a little bit. It's been about 5 minutes or so, but we're going to go ahead and move along. Now, I just wiped under here, but I want to talk about a couple things. So here's your oil plug, and something you want to pay attention to is these are magnetic on the end. And the reason they're magnetic is because they will catch little metal shavings that may come from your motor. Over time, your piston, your rings, and stuff may release some metal shavings. Hopefully you don't see any, but if you do, they're real small. And this is designed to catch some of those things because it's magnetized. And if this doesn't catch it, hopefully your filter will catch it and they won't go back up into the engine and cause damage. So it's just something to check and make sure. This one's clean as a whistle. I could eat off of it. But if you do have some metal shavings on there, before you replace the plug, you'll want to wipe those off. And just kind of pay attention. If you see that on a regular basis, you may have some excessive wear going on in your motor. But anyway, this Miata is pretty new. It had 4,000 miles on it when the previous owner changed the oil. And he told me about the oil change and what he used. So that was at 4,000 miles. We are now at 12,000 miles. So we put 8,000 miles on the oil. And then we're going to change it again at 20,000 miles. That'll be another 8,000 miles from now. And then we'll start to go every 10,000. So 30,000, then 40,000. And there is a notice in the car that comes on your dash that says maintenance schedule within, I think we're down to 8 or 9 days right now. Now, that's just a ballpark as telling you that you need to do your first services, which happens to be, if you look it up, It's an oil change, a tire rotation, and then inspect your hoses and belts. So those are just visual inspections. Push on them a little bit, you know, and move them around. Make sure they're still pliable and they're not, you don't have any big cracks in your radiator hose, stuff like that. Just basic common sense stuff. So this is a service, of course, you can do yourself. The biggest part of this, the whole thing, is the oil change. So we're doing that now, and then when I bring this car down off the ramps, we will rotate the tires. These tires have a locking lug on them that came with them, and I have the lug, so we'll be able to get them off. Otherwise, that might be a problem. So we're going to go ahead and replace this plug. It looks good. It's going to continue to drip a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe it, stick the plug in kind of as fast as I can, and then I'll have to wipe it again. Whoop. Be sure not to cross the threads when you're putting this in. Okay. Having it in there hand tight is enough to keep it from dripping now. Now I'm going to move the oil pan out of my way here, so that I can get up in here closer, because I want to take a look at a couple of things with where the oil filter goes, because there are a couple things I want to mention. Okay, well, it's easy to get to. All right, so let me change hands here with the phone. You want to make sure that this is nice and clean, this surface here. So you want to wipe this off with a clean rag. This is a shop towel. You just want to get the old oil off of there and any debris you may see on there. And I want to pay special attention to something. I want to mention something here, and it may sound like this is ridiculous. Who would do that? But it happened to Therese in her previous life. She had a friend that came and changed her oil. And what happened is the guy left the ring on there from the oil filter. The oil filter has a gasket on it, and sometimes that gasket will get separated from the oil cartridge, and he left the gasket on this, he left the gasket sticking to this plate here. And so when he put the new oil filter on there, which has another gasket, it caused it to leak, and the result was $6,000 damage to the engine. It locked up, it threw oil all over the road, and she was none too happy. I wouldn't be either. Now, do you think that person fessed up and bought her a new engine? Nope. He just ran away. So that's what you get.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was my brother-in-law.
Oh, that was your brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't remember the relation, so I just said friend. But
he was no friend of mine.
Yeah, no friend of hers, but he insisted, I'll change the oil in your car for you, I'll do it for you. And he did, and he blew the engine because he left the old gasket on there and he put the new gasket on top of the old gasket. So just something to be mindful. That's not something you're going to see very often, but this guy, I guess, being a complete moron, he didn't look at all, he didn't check, he didn't care.
You want it done right, do it yourself.
Do you want something done right? That's right, do it yourself. Because even you can... Life lessons. Even if you take something, I've taken a car in one time to get an oil change on a Chevy Trailblazer, just because I didn't have time to do it. And they were running a special, and I took it in, and the Trailblazers have a little plastic door that you have to take off, kind of like a big metal splash pan like this car had, but it was just a little plastic door to get to the oil plug, right? And they didn't put it back on. So the next time, I didn't notice. The next time I changed the oil, I'm like, man, where's the little door that goes on here? It was missing. The guys never put it back on. So you really can't even trust the places to change your oil. And I think this was like a Jiffy Lube place. So I'm going to call them out, because it was that one in Fairbanks, Alaska is where it happened. And somewhere in that store, they probably still have my plastic door from 20 years ago. But just sharing a little story. So now that this surface here is all clean, looks good. I mean, this car is brand new practically. This is the new filter. Here's the new filter. Now I haven't lubricated this little ring yet, so let me go ahead and do that. I got to try to do it with one hand here. So you just want to get a little bit of oil on the end of your finger. In fact, there's some on this filter right here, so you just want to put a little bit. You can see where I'm getting a gloss on there. You just want to put a little bit on there. Not much, just enough to make it moist, so it's not a dry filter. Trying to do this with one hand. I'm holding the camera with the other hand. Ooh, okay, I think that's good. And then all it does is spin on. So again, you want to make sure that you get it on there square and don't cross thread it. Don't force it. Once you get a couple turns on there, it should stay by itself. You can just spin it, see? That way you know you got it on right. Now, I just happen to have the fancy oil filter wrench for this filter. I don't know how, because I've had this longer than I've had the car. I must have bought it for another vehicle. And it fits this one. So that's amazing. Remember those little cap ones I was talking about on the RV oil change? Well, this is the one I was talking about. I said the one I have is way too small. Well, it fits this car. So that was lucky. It just makes it a little easier for this one. It would be hard to get a side wrench on this, but you could if you had to. So the theory basically is once the rubber touches the car and you're turning the filter, it's about 1.5 to 2 turns. But basically, I've done enough of these to know how tight it needs to be. And you do not want to over tighten these. You could damage the gasket and then it'll leak. But you do want it to be fairly tight. Like the other one, I got off by hand. I didn't even need a wrench for it. So my wrench is starting to skip on it. So I think that's plenty tight enough. Yeah, I can't move it by hand, so we're good. And the plug's in there, and that's why I got to tighten that plug. That's something to make sure you go back and do is tighten the plug. And again, this should be torqued to specs. I don't know what they are. You can look it up. But I know about how tight they need to be. They don't need to be overly tight. You don't need to wrench down on them, but they need to be firm. Go a little past firm. And there in the same shot, you can get the oil filter plug and the oil filter in the same shot. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Anyway, so this is all done here. I'm going to put this pan back up and then fill it with oil. And then you need to run it for a little bit, let it warm up, and then check your dipstick and make sure you don't have to add any more. I think this car, and I'll have to double check, I think it's 4.5 quarts. It's not very much. I'll have to look it up to make sure, but I have a 5-quart container, and I know that's enough. That's probably too much. So I know it doesn't take the whole 5 quarts. So I'll look that up and make sure I'm not overfilling the car, and I'll also double check it with the dipstick. Now, the filter is going to hold some oil, okay? So keep that in mind. So when you check your dipstick, run your car first, let it warm up, let the oil get through the filter, and let it drain back down, and then check your dipstick, because you're going to lose some oil to the filter. And anytime you change your oil, you should be changing your filter. I don't think I should need to say that, but if you're going to change your oil, you absolutely change your filter every time you change your oil. And we'll get the oil filled up back up on top. Okay, we're just finishing up with putting the pan back on here. I've already started all these, and I switched over to the drill. And just like a tire, I kind of go to one and then go to the one on the other side. I'll go to the far one. This just makes sure it puts the pan on even. Let's see. Go around and touch them all up. Make sure I got them all. You don't want to lose one on the road somewhere. I think that's got it. That's it. Now we go back up on top. I kind of like this. I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but I do. It keeps everything nice and clean under there. And so I kind of like it. It's not hard to take off. Anyway, we'll call it back up on top. Okay, so I used the funnel. Put it in here. There's really nothing to show. It's 1 bottle of oil. It's 1 5-quart bottle, and I put in 4.5 quarts. So that's what the car calls for. So now what we got to do is start the car, back it off the ramps, move the ramps, bring the car back forward and park it and let it sit and let the oil drain back down. And then check the dipstick and then make sure that we have our 4.5 quarts. So that was it. The oil change on a 2021 Mazda Miata RF. Hope you enjoyed this do-it-yourself project here at the cabin, getting all the oil changes done, and this should be the last one. There is a motorcycle, but I think we've already done a video on that one, and I don't think it needs an oil change for a while. Seems like all the oil changes came due around the same time. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Madam Mayor's Adventures. We'll check you on the next adventure. Have a good one.